This place doesn't make sense.
And is this under my account or yours?
It's under mine, but you'll still be able to see the chats. I mean the messages.
Okay.
You have to go live on your phone.
No, it's not letting me see it. It's not showing it as live.
You have to go live on your Narc.
I am live on my phone.
It's not showing you live.
It's notifying viewers that I'm live. Hold on. I guess no. See, it's not showing it. Okay. Hello, everybody. Okay. I'm a little late, guys. I apologize. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. This app is like really slow. I don't know. Hi, Andrea. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, official. How are you? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm sorry if this is, it looks like this app is really acting slow. I can't even see, I can't see anything on here, but. Why is this buffering? I don't get it. Hold on a second. I don't know why.
Are you on TikTok on Bubba's phone?
There's a problem connecting to live. End this live, and then all right, let me end this live because this is not working. I don't know what the problem is. Probably because I'm not. Let me go on the fucking. Guys, I'm so sorry. I usually am better prepared for this, and apparently I'm not. But welcome, guys. Welcome to everyone on YouTube and Facebook. Welcome. Just give me 1 second. I want to make sure that. Let's try this again. I can't go live on TikTok for some reason because it's acting really, really slow, but hopefully TikTok will. This is why I don't do Androids. No offense to Android users. I can't stand Androids. All right. Oh, guys. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. I apologize for not being here these past few weeks. It's been so hectic and crazy with school, between assignments, projects, thesis papers. I have my medical terminology final coming up. I have my research, my research finals coming up. It's just so much going on. And I apologize for not being here as often as I used to be. But please stick with it. Stick with me, because trust me, it will not go in vain. This is all in efforts to obtain my degree in psychology. It's all an effort to try and change up the mental health community and try to really do what I need to do to help change things, because it's getting really bad out there, guys. It really, really is. And I apologize, because just give me 1 second, because I can't understand why I'm not able to go live on TikTok. I don't understand it. I'm really not understanding it, guys. I'm so frustrated right now, because I wanted to do all of this at one shot. I apologize again. I know this is going to be streaming on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you are joining, just, stick around. And if you catch it on the stream, just fast forward ahead, because I'm usually better prepared for all of this. And apparently I'm not prepared. So, but let's see how this works. If this works for me. I don't know what's going on with TikTok. It just seems like it's acting up really, really badly. So let's see what happens now. But okay, we're good. Okay, yeah. So I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Please bear with me. Hi, Gary. Welcome. Welcome. I know it's been a while since I've been here, guys. I know that it has been a long time. I know that. And I sincerely apologize. But again, please bear with me, because I am, if you've ever gone to college and you have as many classes as I do, plus a full-time job, plus, having to take care of a home and take care of my child, it's very consuming. And when I get home, I'm just so tired. It's like I work 9 to 5, and then I have to go to school, 3 hours of the day. It's a lot. It really is a lot. But again, this is all in effort to obtain my degree in psychology. So people who sit there saying, who do you think you are? And you think you're a professional, and you think you're this, and you think you're that. Listen, I don't think anything, but I am going to get there. And when I do, then you can ask me who I am. I'll be more than glad to show you my degree and license when I get it. So, but guys, I hope you guys had a wonderful week. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I hope that everything is just flowing easily for you guys. I'm still not understanding why this is not working for me. I'm just not. I'm so frustrated with it right now. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me again, please.
The customer service rep.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand why. Okay, yes, this is it's fine. So what's the problem? I don't understand. Trying to do the right thing here. It's not working for me. TikTok is acting really retarded right now. I don't know why it's not letting me go live. Could it be somebody maybe reported my page?
No, you have gotten an email saying you reported your page.
I have no idea. No one's able to join in. No one's able to. It's not doing anything. It says that I'm live, but it's not doing anything. What am I gonna do? And of course. So guys, I just actually wanted to come on really quickly, of course, to touch base with everyone, of course, to reach out to everyone and let everyone know that I am still here. I have not gone anywhere. I'm still here. I'm still in the vicinity. I'm just working extra hard to get this taken care of, so I can both, professionally and of course, empathetically help people in the legit way. Let's just put it that way. Okay. As most of you know, again, I am a college student and it's very, very hard, but I'm doing what I need to do to get this done. And I want to try to come back and really make it on a consistent basis, make these lives more consistent like I used to. And, really, I'm getting so much background noise from over there. Make these lives as consistent as I used to. And of course, just really get back on the horse and really do what's necessary. I have noticed, because I do check my platforms, I do check my pages. And one of the things that I have noticed is that people, do continuously share, which that's awesome. Thank you for doing that. Please continue to do it. And continuously, comment. And I try to comment back as much as I possibly can. They send me messages. And guys, just also keep this in mind. Even though I'm not doing the lives as often, or I haven't, really done extra content, I want you to remember that you can always message me. You can always send me a message through email. You can send me a message through the website, through TikTok. You can send me a message through, whatever platform. You can send me a message, okay? I'm never too busy to respond. I'm never too busy to, still help people in the process. So, just keep that in mind. You are not bothering me. You are not, you're not being a nuisance or anything. It's just, it takes a lot with school and work. So, content does take time. The one thing I give to content creators is that it does take time to create these platforms and create these videos and do these lives and be very interactive, especially when they're doing that and, they have a whole life outside of it. So, but if you do feel that you need to reach out, please don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to send me a message. Don't hesitate to, to let me know, hey, Erica, listen, I'm dealing with a little something, can I get your input on it? I'll be more than glad to help you in whatever way I can. Okay. That's the whole purpose of me going to school. That's the whole purpose of me trying to get this degree. I aim to help people to the best of my abilities. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if you want to maybe see, but just to let you guys know, I have been, seeing some content, some comments, and I've been seeing how people, it's kind of like a sliding scale with people. It's back and forth. It's, it's some people are, yeah, you're so right. And you totally get it. You totally relate and totally understand. But then other people are, oh, you think that you know everything and you think you're an expert on this, and no, what you're giving to people is you're still keeping people in the victim mindset or whatever the case may be. Let me explain something. And I want people to thoroughly understand. Since I started this content, my intentions were, are, and always will be to help people get through whatever emotions, whatever emotions they're going through, to move forward with their lives. And that includes going no contact. That includes removing yourself from toxic situations. That includes staying away. Once you remove yourself from those situations, staying away from it. When I tell people to go no contact, I don't just say, oh, well, just ignore them and they'll leave you alone. No, I say block them, change your number. If you can, change your home address. If you can't, I understand. If you have children with them, hey, do minimal contact, the most minimal. And above all else, do not let their antics and what they say and what they do get to you. It's so easy to get someone riled up. It is so easy to get someone upset and get someone to a point where they'll become very reactive. I mean, it's just stupid easy. And they know this. And because they know this, they do things, they say things, they'll present things that they know will make you react. This is why I say when you're going no contact, you go full no contact. That means no speaking to them, no going to their social media, no looking through their things, no checking in on them to see what they're doing, who they're doing, where they're doing it. That means changing your phone number. Okay. I do get people who say, listen, I can't change my number because I have it for work purposes. I understand that, but you have to not entertain these people, because as I always say, what you allow is what's going to continue. It will continue whether you're with them or not. It will continue. And if they know that they can get to you, if they know that they can get a rise out of you, and if they know that they're going to self-victimize, because that's usually what they do, They're going to basically pick on you. They're going to push your buttons. They're going to make you feel some kind of way. And then when you react and you blow up, what's going to happen? They've already set the scene. So everybody's looking at them as the victim and they're looking at you as the villain. Okay. In learning these things, now I make myself very clear when I say I am not diagnosing anyone. Even if I was a medical professional, I could not diagnose anyone. Okay. Medical professionals cannot diagnose anyone, not via the internet, not via social media, none of that. They cannot do that. Okay. I am here to give you information so you know how to discern. Now, if I say, well, this is what a narcissist does, and I give you 10 different characteristics of what they do, then you have to use discernment and you have to use discretion. Because, you know, if I say, well, these are 10 different characteristics, well, the person I was dealing with only gave me 4 out of those 10. They're not all going to give you the same thing. You're not going to get the same thing. For example, you may not always get love bombing. You have narcissistic people who don't love bomb, who do not love bomb. You know, you have narcissistic people who are not always going to give you, it's not working. So I'm just going to stay on YouTube and Facebook and call it that. I'll figure out TikTok some other time. But it's, you know, you're not going to get every single thing, every single what you would perceive as a cue. You're not going to get that from all of them. You may get different attributes from different types of narcissistic people. And the thing I want people to understand most is being a narcissist and being narcissistic, though one is derivative of the other, they're both two different people. Believe that or not, they're both two different people. Yes, they have the same behaviors, but one is diagnosed as having a severe mental illness. The other is pretty much just with narcissistic traits where they don't have narcissistic personality disorder, but they do have behaviors of someone who is classified as a narcissist. The information that's provided, when I provide this information, I provide it in a general basis, meaning that this is standard information. I am not saying that the person you're dealing with is a narcissist. I can't say that. But if you notice these patterns, you notice these behaviors, then you can pretty much surmise, okay, my ex, my mom, my dad, my children, whomever, they're acting like this, and everything that she's describing, they're acting like this. And no, I'm not saying be a psychiatrist, be a psychologist. Do not confront them with this. It is told to many people not to confront someone, especially someone who has NPD, because they can get very volatile and they can get very dangerous. They can get very dangerous. This is not about tit for tat. Okay. I don't do tit for tat. I don't enable that either. I don't enable people putting up stuff about, oh, my ex is this and my ex is that and blah, 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 whatever. And alluding to their identity, alluding to, you know, so people can go and harass those, you know, the people that they're speaking of. I do not condone that, and I do not enable that. I tell people all the time, do not for a second think that you are doing any better by sitting there and attempting to emasculate, attempting to, you know, to murder their character. That is not advisable. And I say it all the time. That is not advisable. Telling your story is one thing. Speaking your truth about events and situations that have happened to you, that is one thing. But demeaning other people and sitting there putting up, you know, posts that even someone as myself would deem bitter, that is something that I don't encourage people to do. Because what you want to do is you just want to get up and get on with your life. Yeah, they did what they did. They did what they did. And there's no denying that. Yeah, they hurt you badly. Yeah, they lied to you. They cheated on you. They gaslit you. They, you know, they used you. They conned you. They did all of these things. But in the end, you still managed to dodge a bullet. You're still here. You have people who have not made it out of that. You have people who have not made it out of that situation, out of that relationship. You're still here. Okay, you have people who have decided to end themselves because of the immense depression that they have gone into, because of the, you know, the emotional stress and strain. It's just too unbearable. And they have decided to, to cut it short. You have people who have done that, but you have not done that. You're still here. You are still here. So keep in mind that even though they may be dealing with someone else, they may be on to the next person or whatever the case may be, you still have the opportunity to gain something out of all of this. You still have the opportunity to be in a happy relationship, in a healthy relationship, and have something, way more. You have that opportunity. Another thing that someone had mentioned to me, I'm not going to say their name because, listen, at the end of the day, everyone's opinion, to each their own, But I do want to make this very, very clear. With them telling me, all these videos of people talking about narcissists and doing all of this, you're feeding them. You think they don't see that? You think that doesn't make them, feel like it doesn't stroke their ego even more? Me educating people about narcissistic abuse, about people who are diagnosed with NPD, about the characteristics and the traits of a narcissistic person or a narcissist for that, is not in any way, shape, or form an attempt to stroke their ego. Now, if someone who's a narcissist is sitting there and saying, well, she's talking about all of these things, where, they're highly deluded. They are extremely and highly deluded. The fact that because education makes you more aware, education makes you more, it puts you in a better state of understanding, and it helps you to gain closure. It helps you to gain, once you gain the understanding and you say to yourself, okay, now I understand who this person was. Now I understand what they were doing. Now I understand that every single time they tried to come back in and they used me again and they hurt me even more and the discard was even more painful. Now I understand what I was dealing with. When someone tells me, well, they're not victims, I can't stand it when people say that. I can't stand it when people say that. And I got upset about it. I'm not going to lie. I did get upset about it. But to sit there and say, well, to say that they're survivors because they went through bad relationships, or to say that they're survivors because they couldn't handle not being with not being in a relationship with the person that they wanted to be with, but that person didn't want to be with them. Let me explain something to you, okay? Because I honestly can confidently and just with such conviction say this. I can't stand people who invalidate other people, even if it was something terrible. Because, well, let's back it up for a second, okay? And I got my trusty iPhone because, like I said, I don't do Androids, okay? I just don't. I can't do it. But what I want to do, and you guys can take your phones out if you have extra phones, because I want you to understand what the difference, the differences in so many things are, okay? What we're going to do is let's define victim first of all, okay? Go to Google and click define victim. And there are 3 definitions to the term victim, okay? The first one, which is a noun, is a person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other event or action. Okay, so you could have been a victim of physical abuse, okay? Abuse. You could have been a victim of physical abuse, okay? Another definition of victim is a person who is tricked or duped, okay? I'm gonna repeat that. A person who is tricked or duped, which alludes to someone who was manipulated, someone who was given a false impression, someone who was told something, someone who was made to feel something, but the intentions of the other person were totally different from the genuine intentions of that person who happens to be a victim. And the third one is a living creature killed as a religious sacrifice. I have no doubt in my mind that you have a lot of narcissistic people who get involved in stuff like that too. Okay? We know that for a fact. Dealing with different types of cultures and different types of, you have cults in the world. You got people who do all types of stuff. They dabble in stuff. That's what they do. Now, we're going to let's define abuse. Don't you love Google? Abuse, which is a verb. Okay. There are actually a few definitions. The first one is use something to bad effect or for a bad purpose. Misuse. See, this is where people get abused confused, where they say, well, did they put their hands on you? No, so they really didn't abuse you. Again, use something to bad effect or for a bad purpose. Also to misuse. Second definition, treat a person or an animal with cruelty or violence, especially regularly or repeatedly. With cruelty or violence, regularly, repeatedly. Another definition, the improper use of something. This is where people have abuse problems when it comes to, let's say, drugs, abuse of alcohol, abuse of drugs, abuse of power, whatever. Okay. And the other definition is cruel and violent treatment of a person or animal. Cruel and violent treatment of a person or animal. Now, we know that you're not animals. We know that you're people. Okay? So they misuse, right? They've incepted cruelty. They've incepted, in some ways, violence. You have people who have gone through domestic abuse. Okay? And just to reiterate for anybody who's not understanding what abuse is, okay, to treat a person or animal with cruelty or violence, especially regularly and repeatedly. Now, you all can resonate with that because that in itself defines a trauma bond. Okay. And for those who are not familiar with what a trauma bond is, I like to pretty much paraphrase the definition, but it is pretty much a very toxic connection that is sustained with reward and punishment behavior. So in the beginning, they're sweet to you, of course, because you get more flies with honey than you do vinegar. Okay. Because if they had shown you who they were in the very beginning, you know as well as I do, and I don't even know, all of you like that. I don't, but I can imagine that you would not put up with someone with cruel behaviors, with someone with nasty attitudes, with someone who does not know how to demonstrate respect, with someone who doesn't know how to treat you like a human being. I cannot see any of you dealing with someone, especially in the beginning stages, with someone like that. So, of course, to get more flies, you got to put a little honey out there. And of course, as sticky as it gets, you get caught up and then boom. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. That's where it goes throughout the entire relationship. The highs and the lows. You feel like you are, and this is in no way, shape, or form, because this is this is in no way, shape, or form an attempt to insult people with bipolar disorder. But for someone who is bipolar and not undergoing the proper treatment that they need to go through to get through, what it is that they're dealing with as far as bipolar disorder goes, okay? Because those who have bipolar disorder take medication. They take medication to, it's not a cure. There is no cure for it, but they take medication to help calm their emotions, to help sustain them keep them in a very, what's the word for it? I don't want to say, I want to say lazy state, because that's not what it is, but it's to help keep that in control, keep the outbursts, keep the very low lows and the very high highs, to keep that in control. Okay. But being with someone who is of narcissistic nature is like being with an emotional roller coaster. It's just a very turbulent type of ride. You don't know what attitude you're going to get. You don't know what day of the week that they're going to go from being sweet and nice to you to being extremely mean and cruel to you. You don't know what's going to happen. And for anyone who's ever endured domestic violence, okay, anyone who's endured being physically abused in their relationship, you don't know when they're going to make another strike at you. You are so on edge. You are so on eggshells that any little thing that you do, you second guess yourself because you're so afraid. And this goes for people, people who don't understand why people stay in relationships, especially when they're toxic. Listen, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors in other people's homes. We don't know. Some people stay because they're scared. They fear for their lives. And they have no one else to help them. They have nowhere else to go to. I just did a thesis paper. Can't talk right now. I just did a thesis paper on bail reform and how the guidelines within the bail reform have seriously affected different aspects within the justice system, especially with regards to domestic violence. When I did my research, I had to do my research because we had to do in-text citations. We had to do all of this stuff. I learned that in 2020, the NYPD got over 250,000 calls, 2020 to 2021, with regards to domestic violence cases alone. And not only that, but the crime rate with domestic violence, it's at its highest in the Bronx. When the pandemic hit us, and people were forced to stay at home, people were forced to stay in quarantine, how many of these people who are in marriages and relationships were in a marriage or in a relationship with an abusive spouse? And I'm not just talking women either. I'm sorry, guys, give me one moment. Hi, Stella. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Kareem. But I'm not just talking women. I'm talking men too. Okay? Men do get abused too, guys. Let's not sleep on that. They do get abused. Now, since we're in the stage of defining things, let's define a narcissist. Okay? Now, when I click on it, okay, narcissism, it's a person that I said define narcissist, okay? And it brought me to narcissism. Personality qualities include thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. Okay, so they believe that people are inferior to them, but that is, of course, a false idealistic thought of themselves. Okay, narcissists generally, this starts at a very young age, a very, very young age. Okay, and you know what they say, a lot of what our kids know, a lot of what our kids do, often it starts from the home. It starts from the home. So if you dealt with someone who is narcissistic, you dealt with someone who is a narcissist, okay? And the only reason one can classify them as a narcissist is simply because they have been diagnosed as one. But majority of them will not go to get any kind of mental help. They won't go for therapy. They won't, because they'll be too much in denial about themselves. They'll be in too much denial about themselves. Why do you think that when you went through a discard, right? Everything happened the way they did. And they were mean and cruel and hurtful towards you. And I mean, listen, may not have happened to all of you, but I'm pretty sure a good amount of you. They were mean and cruel and just hurtful towards you. And you just could not recognize the person that you were dealing with, right? And everything happened the way it did. And it just kind of, you went your own way. You had no choice, because at that point it was like, damn, how much more can I take before, like, how much of your self-respect did you have left? Because I'll tell you right now, I really didn't have much when I went through it. I really didn't have much. But you just come to the understanding of, this is just who you are. This is what you are. This is what you do. This is just simply everything that I ever thought about you in the beginning and even in between, because when they would show you those good behaviors, you would hold on to that. You would cling on to that for dear life. When they showed you those good behaviors, yes, 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 this is the person I want. I want this person to stay. This is the person that I remember when I first met them. This is the person. And next thing you know, boom, you got that other person. You got that other person that you just were afraid of, that you had to walk on eggshells for, that you could not debate. You could not be yourself. You could not. And it's funny because me and Amanda were having this conversation about a week ago or so, when we were having the conversation. And I said, and it's okay to admit it too. I said, being in a relationship with someone who's extremely toxic and staying within that, especially as long as a lot of us did, before, if you can look back and say, who were you before you met that person? Who were you before you got involved with that person? You were smart. You were confident in yourself. You know, you had a few flaws, which we all do. Maybe some insecurities, which we all have. I mean, it's like, it's not that it's, it's not unknown, you know what I'm saying? But if you really think about it, we really dumbed ourselves down. And I was having this conversation with her. We dumbed ourselves down. You could have had an IQ of, I don't know, let's say 200. You could have had an IQ of 200. But when you got out of that relationship, you literally had an IQ of like 90. And that's simply because everything that you always believed in, everything that you always thought that you would never go through, and if faced with that, if it presented that situation, now that couldn't be me. Because something, a lot of us have seen someone else go through it. When we're standing on the outside and we're looking in, a lot of us could be like, oh no, that couldn't be me. That could not be me. And you know what they say, never say never. Never say never. You find yourself in that situation, you find yourself being with someone who mistreats you, abuses their power, okay? They feel like they have you under their thumb. And because we always wanted to see good in people, and because we always wanted to just turn it around, because, I mean, let's face facts, guys. I know a lot of you probably got, you got a story. You got a story, whether it be a sob story or what have you. You got a story that was planted in your head from the very beginning, which gave you the impression that they are a victim. Okay, you got a story in the very beginning, whatever that story was. Okay, whatever that story was, you got a story that pretty much portrayed them as being a victim in the circumstances, in the relationships that they have had before you. So you go through that relationship thinking, I can do better than the person you were with before. I can treat you better than that person. I can love you better than that person who betrayed your trust, who abused you, who lied to you, who did all of these things to you. I can do better. And little did you know, you didn't get the full story. You got little nuggets of the story, but you didn't get the full story. Okay? Little nuggets of truth are little bits of occasions that actually did happen. But 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be in a case where either one, they were dealing with someone just as toxic as them, or two, they were dealing with someone who stood up to them. And because that person stood up to them, they became an even bigger victim. But regardless, you went with the narrative. You went with because I've had people plenty of times tell me, oh, this is my situation, a little backstory. This is what they told me. But, I can't believe that because they told me that this is what they went through and I believe them on that. You can't have it both ways. Okay? We cannot have it both ways. We can't sit there and say that we know for a fact what they went through in their past prior to you was actually true when you were not there. Okay? And me, I am one, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I do not trust anyone who tells me a story and does not take any kind of accountability within that story. I may have done that before because I was dumb. I'm not going to lie. I've done it before where I believed everything they said. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but you're such a good person. Oh my gosh, how can someone treat you that way? Oh my gosh. And it just gave them that impression of, oh, this chick is a sucker. I can tell her anything and she'll fall for it. I no longer do that. I refuse to believe a story where there is no accountability. I don't care if you were not abusive towards the person, but enabling and going back to those situations, you still have to take accountability for that. So if someone sat here and told me, Erica, I'm going to tell you a story about what happened, you better believe I'm going to be making notes of it. That's what a therapist does. Okay, a therapist makes notes. That's why they got that pad and pen, because they have to pinpoint where the issues lie. It could be with them, but you got to remember, what did I tell you? What you allow is what will continue. And in the end, when someone, because, listen, duped or tricked, hurt, physically hurt, cruelty, okay, that is what makes you a victim. That is what makes you a victim. But the minute you become aware, the minute you start to see that these behaviors, oh, but wait a minute, this person's treating me like crap and they're saying mean things to me and they're disrespecting me, but you're still staying in that situation, you got to remember there's a thin line there. There's a very thin line between being a victim and just being an enabler. Okay? Being a victim means you are completely unaware of what is going on. And the minute you become aware, you have to get out of that. As painful as it is, that is what pushes you towards survivorship. Okay? But being an enabler is you are completely aware that they are manipulative, that they are deceitful, that they are abusive, they are lying to you, they are conning you. You are completely aware of these situations, and yet you're still there. You're still there each and every time. And in each and every case, there are plenty of people who say, but I was just hoping that things would change. I thought if I held on longer, things would change. And I get it. Emotions can definitely take over. Emotions can take over a lot. But your logic has to kick in sometime. And when you start seeing that a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years goes by, nothing has changed. And the reason nothing has changed is because you have stayed there. You have stayed there. Now, had you left, one of two things would have come out of that situation. If you had left, it would have either A, prompted them to change their behaviors because they are afraid to lose you, and they don't want to hurt you. They don't want to lose you. They want to change. They want to change their toxic ways to be a better person, not only for you, but for themselves. Or it'll just push them into the hands, or the arms, I should say, of someone else who would be more than willing to deal with them as is. Either way, you don't lose. You don't lose. But people who are afraid to leave are usually of people who come from a very codependent background, from a very self, and I say this very delicately because people who are from codependent background are just pretty much similar to, as far as how they feel about themselves, they're similar to narcissists. They receive the same type of trauma. They don't carry self-love. Okay. Self-respect is just not in their vocabulary because they weren't raised with that. They were raised to accept things and not complain about it. They were raised to be around toxicity and accept it as a natural way of living. Okay, I treat you this way and there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just accept it and move on. This is why people who are codependent stay in relationships with people who are narcissistic much longer. Because they're so used to dealing with these types of behaviors growing up from the people who either lived with them, raised them, what have you. Okay? I call spades a spade. But because you've dealt with that so much for so long, when you get involved with someone, that person, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? You get more flies with honey than you do vinegar. That person showed you a little love. They showed you attention. They showed you, oh, you deserve to be treated like a queen. Oh, but you're such a beautiful woman, or you're such a great guy. They showed you humility. They showed you everything that you have always dreamed of, but never imagined getting, because throughout your life, you never believed that you really deserved that. And you grew up believing that you didn't deserve that simply because people who believe that for themselves projected that onto you. Do you guys get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying here? It's an endless cycle. So now you deal with someone who doesn't value you, because after the mask falls, that's it. That's it. Now I can treat you however way I want to treat you. Now I can pull you off the pedestal that I put you on, because you didn't ask for them to put you on it, but they just did it themselves. Now they get to pull you off the pedestal, and now you got to do for them. You have to prove to them why they should be with you. And if you'll recognize patterns, because the same way, this is how I know certain people. Like, I don't even have to know them personally. I don't have to know them as a person. I don't even have to interact. I can observe them. And based on the trauma that I've had, based on the people in my life, because listen, I'm gonna be honest, I come from a family that's a lot of different things, okay? A lot of different things. And narcissists, there are narcissists in my family. There are narcissists in my family. There have been sociopaths in my family. You know, there are different types of people, which we all have in our families. We all have different types of mental illnesses and, you know, psychological problems. People who have psychological problems, you know, a lot of it can be hereditary. But when you come to understand that what you put up with is something that you were primed to put up with, okay? What you put up with, because if you had parents, and I'm not knocking your parents, I don't know your parents, don't come for me talking about how you gonna talk about my mom and dad. No, but I'm gonna give you some truth, because this is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. This is something when they're, hey, yo, Erica, you know, listen, you might not want to talk about people's parents. I'm gonna have to, because you got to understand where it stems from. You got to understand why you have put up with this shit so long. You got to understand why each and every time you get into a new relationship, each and every time you leave a relationship or that person leaves you and you just get into a new one, you don't have to be a narcissist to bounce from relationship to relationship. Codependents do it all the time. Codependents do it all the time. And that's simply because they have low self-esteem. That's simply because they have fear of abandonment. They cannot be alone. Narcissists aren't the only ones who do that. So if you find yourself ending a relationship with somebody, or them ending a relationship with you, and not that much time has gone by and boom, you're in the next relationship and you're dealing with another person who is love bombing you or making you feel good, making you feel like the queen or making you feel like a king, you get involved. The minute they show you some loving, the minute they show you some attention, they show you that, oh, I'm just so into you, you get attached, because that's what codependents do. They get attached. This person's showing me attention. This person's validating my feelings. They're showing me love. You get attached. And the minute you get attached, boom. Once they see, okay, I got you, that's when it goes downhill. And you repeat the cycle each and every time, because subconsciously you're not realizing that you are becoming complacent in each relationship based off of what you were trained to believe, what you were trained to feel, what you were trained to think growing up. I don't know your relationships with your parents. I don't. I can't tell you what they were. You know, I'd have to be one-on-one with you to understand. But I can tell you that if you had an absent parent, okay, let's just say you had an absent father, right? But let's talk about a young girl who has an absent father. Father was not around, didn't have a positive male role model in her life. Mom was, let's say mom was narcissistic or mom was codependent. Mom could be codependent too. She could be codependent and be in the wrong kind of relationship with the wrong kind of man. And that man could be doing all kinds of things, abusing mom, doing whatever. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, a young woman who does not have a positive male role model in their life, okay, and lives a life with a narcissistic mother or a mother who just can't quite do it as a parent, will look outside for externally. She'll look outside for love that she always wanted to get from her parents. She's going to look for that in her relationships. She's going to say, well, dad's not around. If she has a narcissistic mother, there are so many different scenarios. If her mom is narcissistic, dad is not around. Well, your dad doesn't want to be around. I don't know, because he wants to go sleep around town, do whatever. But mom's not telling her what mom has been doing to keep dad away. Mom's not telling her your dad left because of me. Mom's not telling her your dad left because I'm domineering, I'm controlling, I'm verbally abusive, I'm emasculative, I emasculate him, I make him feel less of a man. Mom's not telling her that. She's telling her, oh, your father's nothing but a little wimp, or he's a little bee. He doesn't want to take care of his responsibilities. You have narcissistic mother who take their children away from the fathers. Fathers don't know where to find their kids. They want to be a part of their children's lives, but because the narcissistic mother says, well, you know what? It's under my terms. It's what I say. This is why I say they use their kids as pawns. And kids believe their moms, because kids are not going to think that moms are hurting. My mom would never hurt me. My mom would never lie to me. My mom would never do anything to jeopardize my relationship with my father. It's you. And the kids end up looking at the fathers like they're abandoners. You abandon us. You wanted nothing to do with us. And then what happens? They internalize that under false pretense, mind you. They internalize that. So the young woman who grows up without a positive male role model, but becomes the extension of she either becomes the extension of her mother, which means that she takes on all the traits of her narcissistic mother and she projects that onto men, where she is emotionally detached. And she just basically is out there to get what she can from men, use them for whatever, attention, money, sex, whatever, okay? And then move on to the next. Or she becomes very codependent, where she's out there seeking the love that she wanted from her father, but never got. And she ends up being in relationships. Here's the crazy part. She ends up being in relationships with the kind of men who reflect her mother. Okay? If her mother was domineering, her mom was, critical, always criticizing her, always making her feel like she'll never be good enough, always making her feel like in order for her to, be there for her daughter has to do for her. Her daughter has to cater to her ego first. She will end up being in the kind of relationships that are in essence a reflection of the relationship that she has with her mother, because it becomes familiar. So after the love bombing quits out, when she's in a relationship with someone who's of narcissistic nature, of course, and they start mistreating her, this is where, if some of you are unfamiliar with this, or anyone who's just passing through and just, wants to know what this platform and this conversation is about, this is where a lot of people who don't understand these types of connections, don't understand why their friends or, whomever is in relationships with people who don't treat them right, who mistreat them, why stay with them if they're treating you like that? Why do this? It's because they were primed to be in these types of relationships. That's primarily the reason why some people they don't understand why they can't let something go or let someone go. It's because they're traumatically bonded. And it's a really messed up thing, because you didn't deserve that. I know I'm speaking to somebody. I know that someone is listening. Someone is watching this, trying to understand why. Why did I stay? Why am I still here? Why didn't I just let it go when I saw who they were the first time? because you were trained to be accepting of that behavior. You had to accept that type of behavior when you were younger. You had to accept it growing up, in a broken home. You had to accept that. And though you did not agree with their behaviors, you did not agree with the caregivers and how they did things, how they manipulated people, how they hurt people, how they lied. You don't agree with that. You thought to yourself, I'm going to go out there into the world because not everybody can be like this. Consciously, you're saying that to yourself. Not everyone can be like this. I have to be capable of finding something that's good for me out there. Subconsciously, your subconscious self is staying within a relationship that is no good for you because you were raised to believe that that's what you deserve. Oh, I can't even hardly see. My eyes like, ugh. Kareem, thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, I'm looking at everything in the world now and seeing things for what they truly are. And everybody who watches the videos, everyone who follows the platforms, everyone who, is gaining clarity, gaining understanding, I applaud you. You took the steps necessary to get yourself out of a situation, as scary as that was for you. You took those steps. I know that fear because I was there too. I know that fear. My lashes are like, sorry. I know that fear because I was there too. I was so scared to walk away, even though the people and the person was mistreating me, was hurting me, was deliberately, and that's the crazy part about it, deliberately doing these things, but I walked away. They never walked away. They wanted to keep me around. They wanted to keep me around as a just in case. Just in case. That's why they wanted to keep me around. Anyone who is understanding and sensible to, knows clean break. You have to give a clean break. You don't sit there and treat someone like crap and you see that they're not going anywhere because they genuinely were invested in you. You don't sit there and say, well, listen, let's just be friends for now and let's just see what happens. Do you know how evil that is? And there's no other way to describe it. Knowing how someone feels, hitting them with a ton of bricks, gaslighting them in the process, giving them a silent treatment, playing with their emotions, lying to them. That is just purely sadistic. And then to have the audacity to say, well, let's just be friends. Let's be friends because we don't know what's going to happen. But no, we do clean breaks. I never remained friends with an ex, with the exception of my child's father that I have to be, I have to be cordial with, and of course for the sake of my son. But I have never remained friends with an ex. Who stays friends with an ex? First of all, if you stay friends with an ex, to each their own. I don't do it. You staying friends with an ex, especially in this type of situation, you are building yourself up with false hope. A lot of the time people walk away from these types of relationships thinking if I walk away, they're going to realize what they had and that they're going to lose it. They're going to no, they know. And the fact of the matter is that even after everything that they had done, if you were still there, first of all, they had no respect for you. Okay, we need to understand that. Someone who does not respect themselves does not have respect for others. Okay, if they do not respect themselves, they do not have respect for others because it starts from somewhere. They knew that you would do anything for them. They knew that you wanted nothing more than for them to be happy. They knew that you jumping through a higher hoop each and every day. They knew that you would do everything possible. They knew these things. And it was the fact that they could say what they wanted, do what they wanted, and get away with what they wanted. That is where they picked it up and they ran with it. They know all of these things, guys. They know everything that they do. They know everything that they say. And if anyone sits there and tells you, oh, he didn't know, she didn't know. Seriously? I'm one who lives with logic. And my logic is, if I'm sitting here crying my eyes out, if I'm sitting here telling you, why are you doing this? Do you know what kind of effect this is having on me? Why are you saying these things? Do you not know how painful this is for me? You have made them aware of what they are doing, what they were doing, and they're going to sit there and say, I didn't know? Come on. Come on. No. No. They will rationalize their behaviors. So if you even try to hold them accountable. This is why I say don't waste your time trying to do it. Don't waste your time trying to do it. Don't waste your time trying to get them to understand what they are doing. They understand what they are doing. They know what they're doing. They knew from the very beginning, they knew what was going to happen. Okay? Because they know how they are in relationships. They know how they are towards people. They know these things. People are disposable, okay? And because they know these things, they knew that at some point your relationship was going to hit a very bad point. And hell, they probably even set it up because the act of self-sabotage is not a new feature for them. They self-sabotage all the time. And when they self-sabotage and things do not align with their intentions, then they become a victim. Now I'm a victim. I did all of these things, but this didn't align with what I wanted. So now I'm a victim. They know everything that they're doing. They've known everything that they were doing. And in the end, guys, you have dodged a serious bullet. Do not look at what has happened as rejection. Look at what has happened as protection. Okay? Look at what has happened as protection. I was just recently watching old movies on HBO. And I don't know if you guys have seen the movie with Michael Douglas and Demi Moore, Disclosure. And I was pretty young when that movie came out. So I really couldn't watch it like that when I was younger. But as I got older, but I hadn't realized it when I watched it recently. And that is there are plenty of movies, but that is a perfect depiction of what a narcissist, the female narcissist in this case, what they're capable of. Like, they want power and they want everything for themselves so badly that they will destroy someone or try to destroy someone's credibility, reputation, just to get what they want. In this case, Michael Douglas did not give her everything that she wanted. So she went and, let's just say, she went and accused him of sexual harassment. This is something that can happen in the workplace too, guys. It doesn't have to be your romantic partner. This can be in the workplace. If you are not compliant with someone who is controlling, with someone who is possessive, someone who demands from others, whether that be attention, power, money, you name it, they will do unspeakable things to try and hurt you so badly, all while simultaneously portraying themselves out to be a victim. Okay? Be very careful. But again, the movie is called Disclosure. Okay? Disclosure. It's like a 1990s movie. If you have a chance, check it out. Tyler Perry movies are good too. Tyler Perry movies touch on this a lot. I mean, touches on different aspects of different types of personality disorders, if you really think about it. But you have to be extremely, extremely careful. Be very discerning. Okay? always make sure that you got to try to always be a step ahead. It might be kind of difficult, but you know, in the end, this is you protecting yourself. This is you. I don't know what the heck is going on with my eye. I'm sorry, guys. My eye's like, I think it's this glue. I don't know. This is what I get for wearing huge eyelashes. I don't have any eyelashes, so I have to wear the big ones. But I want you guys to understand that my platforms are really to help and really just to, you know, help see you through what you don't understand, what you may not understand, what you know, may feel is it's a terrible time. I mean, it's a terrible situation. It's a terrible situation, and everybody is at different stages of their lives when it comes to this type of abuse. You have people that are victims each and every day. Victims of narcissistic abuse, victims of domestic abuse, victim of narcissistic discard. I mean, you have so many different people who are going through these motions, and just know that, you know, I'm trying to get down to the bottom of it. I really am. Like, I am pushing myself to not only understand, not only learn how to diagnose, to pay attention to the patterns, to observe, do all of these things, but I'm doing it because it's just a matter of breaking these cycles. Some people find it hard to do it on their own, and they need the support, and they need someone who's in their corner, who's on their side. And that's just simply who I am. I am a person who's for the people. I'm a person who, I don't do this and ask for anything in return. I really don't. I'm so sick and tired of this being something that is not really being addressed, and it's not really being handled the way it needs to be handled. And at the end, I want to get through to people who have been in those endless cycles and just want peace and happiness, and they just want that little bit of light to find their way out. That's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. I've been through it. I know what it is. I know what it feels like to go through it alone. I know what it feels like to want to crawl into a deep hole and just take yourself away from the world and not want to. And some people can sit there and be like, oh my gosh, but all this over. You don't understand. You don't understand gaslighting. You don't understand a trauma bond. You don't understand trauma. Trauma leads to PTSD. And this is something that people don't understand. Traumatic experiences, okay? Traumatic experiences create PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You have people who take meds for it. Post-traumatic stress disorder has been known to be something that usually people in the military experience, or if you experience a traumatic experience, you know, just at a sudden moment. It could be anything. When you break up with someone, who ever heard of breaking up with someone and having PTSD? You don't have PTSD unless there is abuse that went on in that relationship, whether it be verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, or SA. You do not develop PTSD. Yeah, you may feel heartbroken if it were a regular breakup. Yeah, you may feel sad and you'll feel mad and you'll feel hurt. Yes, you'll feel upset if the person cheated on you. That doesn't necessarily make them a narcissist. But if you have been diagnosed, because I know a lot of people who have undergone narcissistic abuse had to go to therapy, had to get professional help, had to, because they couldn't understand. They could not understand. Why the hell am I feeling this way? Why am I dealing with this? Why? I don't understand this. They go get professional help. Boom. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Boom. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Do you get that from a relationship? Is that normal? Is that something that everybody who has gone through a breakup understands? No. For anyone who is dealing with people or surrounded by people who are trying to invalidate your experiences, trying to say, oh, you just need to get over it. You just need to move on from it. This happened how many years ago? Let me tell you something. There are still people It could be 5 years. It could be 10 years. It could be 15 years. There's still people who are getting therapy for PTSD, CPTSD, still trying to get trauma therapy. Do not let anyone invalidate you. Do not let anyone tell you that you need to get over it. Your healing is a journey. Your healing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You take as much time as you need. You do what you have to do, because in order for it to become effective, you have to take your time. If it means being by yourself, be by yourself. If it means being, with friends and family and not getting involved with anyone, do what makes you happy. But do not let anyone tell you, oh, you're not a victim. You were never a victim. It wasn't like this. It wasn't. Do not let anyone invalidate. You know what you experienced. You know what you experienced. And if you went to therapy, your therapist knows what you experienced. Okay? And like I said, if you need to talk, I may be busy. I'm bringing this stuff back, guys. I'm bringing it back. I promise. I'm bringing it back. My semester ends April 20th. Okay. But get this. My semester ends April 20th, and I only have a week and a half in between before I start the new semester, because I'm not taking any breaks. I'm not doing any breaks in between. I'm trying to get this done as soon as possible. I am 40 years old. I'm trying to get this done in a timelier manner, okay? More efficient manner at that, okay? But I'm never too busy to respond to an email. If you want to email me, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. I'm never too busy to respond to anything that you may have, any questions you may have, or if you're dealing with something and you just want my input on something. I'm never too busy for it, guys. Okay? I am here. I'm still here. I still check the pages, guys. I still check, all the platforms. I try to respond to as many people as possible. But if I don't, the best way to reach me is through email. I will tell you that. Email will be the best way to reach me. narcsurvival101@gmail.com. And give me a little bit, but I will get back to you. I promise you. And I don't break a promise. Okay? I don't break a promise. But I just feel so good to be here with you guys tonight. I'm sorry if I didn't get a chance to read any comments. And something, Stella, and anxiety is something that we work through. Right? It's something that we work through. We can't just get over it. Rome was not built in a day. We can't get over it overnight. We can't, so we have to just take it one day at a time. And again, take your time. Don't be afraid to take your time. If you're still feeling, this could have happened to you 3 years ago, 4 years ago. If you're still feeling certain remnants, you're feeling certain, take your time, but just get through it. You can cry, you can hurt, you can feel the pain, you can scream. Do what makes you feel good in the moment. Let it out. And then you get up and you go about your day. That's how you do it. Anyone who tries to tell you, oh, get over it, it's a done deal, that person moved on. Okay, yeah, that person moved on. That person moved on, did what they did. They're with who they're with. And listen, go be with God. Okay? But me, I'm doing things for myself. And, people, listen, some people may come to you and say, oh, I'm a changed person. I've changed my ways. I'm not that person you knew. And I'm going to make this abundantly clear, because people tell me I have, tendency to hold a grudge, even though I have boundaries. I keep boundaries. Okay. I don't hold grudges. Holding grudges is, indicative of I have not forgiven. But I had to learn to walk away with an apology that I never got. However, I will not acknowledge any new and improved you, new look, same great taste you. I don't give a damn what it is. I will not acknowledge until the new you or the old you or whatever you takes accountability for what you have done. I don't need to acknowledge anyone. Okay. And I don't want anyone sitting there thinking, well, the person is telling me, well, you're trying to hold my past against me and I'm just trying to show you I've evolved. That's perfectly fine. I'm glad you evolved, but I cannot deal with you until you take accountability for what you have done. Taking accountability, often they don't do it. It's simply because it means admitting they were wrong. Admitting they were wrong, admitting that they were being shitty people towards you, admitting that they knew what they were doing. But not only that, for them, admitting everything to you means final closure, means there is no chance of ever coming. I mean, well, regardless, because if it came to me, no, there is no chance of reentry. But it means closure, complete closure, in you never wanting anything to do. Ooh, see, that was a rubber band that just popped. It means you never wanting anything to do with them, and finally knowing the truth and finally getting the closure. They won't give that to you. They will not give that to you. I'm going to tell you that right now. They will not give it to you. They'd rather walk around and rationalize their behaviors. They'd rather sit there and say, no, I was the way I was because of you, because you were like this and you were like that, and you were mean to me, you were bullying me, you were doing this. They twist everything around. They not only twist your words around, but they will twist your actions around. So be very careful, please, guys. Very, very careful. If you're narcissistic ex, I can't say narcissist, I'm just going to say narky ex. If they reach out to you, if they out of the blue send you a message, if they contact you, do not respond. Do not give them the time of day. Do not feed into that. Please don't feed into that. Please just block it, delete it, move on from it. Okay? Because they will just continuously find other ways. They will find other ways to lie. Once a manipulator knows that you know what they are about, okay, and that's generally a narcissist rule. Once they know that you know what they're about and you know what, you can pretty much predict what their new moves are going to be, they're probably not gonna bother with you. And if they do bother with you, they're gonna let time go by first, and they're gonna try to find other ways to weasel back in. Don't let them do it. Please don't let them do it. Continue your path, guys. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue whatever it is that you're doing that is giving you progression. Continue to do it. Whatever it is, okay? Whatever you choose to do. If you want to let me know what steps you take, or if you want to make suggestions so that when I come on live again and give suggestions to people with regards to certain steps that you're taking to, just to relive and regroup and revitalize yourself, please, by all means, let me know. I'd be more than glad to pass that on to people who may need help in their healing journey. There are so many people out there who need help, guys. There's just so many people out there. All right. So definitely, just continue doing it. Continue looking forward, continue moving forward. And just so we're clear, because I know I get different followers and I get different people who come in and different people who message. This is not just for women. This is for men too. Okay. Men are victims of narcissistic abuse too. It's not just women. Okay. I don't just side with women. I don't just side with men. I side with those who have been victims and they are transitioning as survivors. That means there is no gender. There is no specific gender, whether you're a man or you're a woman. So best believe that, fellas, if I see a female doing things that I know is manipulative, emasculative, that I know is just downright dirty, downright grimy, I'm going to let you know. I don't follow, like, I don't deal with females, period, but I don't deal with females like that. So if I see behaviors that I know are just really wrong, I call a spade, and I have no fear in letting people know that's who they are and that's what they're about. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for being here tonight. I'm so beat. I really am. I'm exhausted. But it's, I have about a few more weeks until the end of the semester. And I have to get some rest because I got to go to the barber tomorrow, get my hair done. I have to eat my dinner first. But tomorrow's is the barber, do some running around to get ready for a full work week, a full school week. Wish me luck on my finals. I have Tuesday I have my medical terminology final. I don't know if you guys see this book. Okay. This is a huge book. Okay. It is a huge book. Look at this. Okay. I'm serious about this, guys. I'm so serious about this. And I'm hoping to create just something different in the mental health world. It has to be something. Something's gotta give. I've been just seeing so many different people who actually claim to be in the mental health profession. But it just doesn't seem, there are just certain things. I'm not going to say they seem unethical, but it just doesn't seem right. What they're like, it's like a lot of people in the profession are seeking to have exposure, like it's more about having views and followers and, and just trying to be a part of something that just, it's like, you got to pick your side on what you're trying to do. But I mean, to each their own. I couldn't say if it doesn't violate, if it doesn't violate certain laws, or if it doesn't violate the, the guidelines and regulations of where these people are licensed. I mean, I can't, it's just, a matter of public opinion, but I just really think that the field definitely needs a change. It really, really needs a change. And I'm hoping I could be one of the people that does that. Hopefully, God willing, we'll see. Just pray for me. But guys, thank you so much. So much for being patient. Thank you so much for your continuous support. Thank you so much for still sharing the videos and following and just being here, being a part of this. Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words, the encouragement, the love. It's just, it hits me here. It really does. Excuse me. But I am going to call it a night. I promise I will be here next week. I will be here with you guys next week on Friday. I have to try to figure out TikTok. Oh, excuse me. I have to try to figure out what's going on with that because I promised them I would be live tonight too. And I hadn't gone live. So now I have to try to figure that out. I'll be like the girl who cried wolf. But again, guys, if you need to reach me, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. You can send me a message on there. Please check out the website, narcsurvival101.com. It's designed for people who have, again, been victims and who are survivors of abuse. There are some blogs up there, some articles up there, different things that you can catch on there. And if you want, you can sign up for the website. So when I start doing one-on-ones again, and, I start changing it up depending on what my next semester is about, you'll be notified on the website. It'll notify you on your email. So please sign up for it if you haven't already. And guys, oh my gosh. It's like I have a frog in my throat.
Jesus Christmas.
It's that time. It's that time.
Here you go. Clear the throat.
Thank you. Thank you again so much, guys. Much love to you all. I hope you have a beautiful remainder of your weekend. I'm blind as a bat right now, so I didn't get a chance to see any of the comments, but I promise I will respond to them. I promise I will respond to them. Okay? And hopefully everybody kept it positive.
You swallowed an eyelash or something?
I don't know what the hell I swallowed. It's like right here. But I will be back here on Friday. Promise you guys. I will be back here on Friday on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok. And we'll be talking about more stuff. I'm sorry. I'm freaking choking over here. And I'm over here. I'm choking. And the only thing I can think about, oh my God, I got to take my final. I can't choke. I can't die right now. But thank you so much, guys, for the love, for the support, and everything you do. You guys are amazing. You guys are strong. You guys are, you're smart. and you're a lot smarter than you think. You're a lot stronger than you think. You can do it. I know there is someone who's watching or someone who will be watching this. You can do it. You can get through it. And if you feel that you can't, reach out to me and I'll be more than glad to help you in whatever way I can. Okay? My peoples, love you all. Have a beautiful night. I will see you Friday. Blessings, peace, love, protection, God's blessings, all that good stuff. And hopefully I'll see you guys back here this Friday coming up. All right, guys? Much love to you all. Have a beautiful night. Good night.